And so anybody that knows me or that's been following me for years knows that I've been fighting against division for a long, long time now. Division amongst the genders, division in our society. Okay, what it's created for people, from racism to the genders in the workplace and how we treat each other. I woke up to the dating, through the dating scene, I woke up to what's going on around me in this world. I've done lots and lots of research over the years. And then there's lots of different research I knew nothing about to research. Okay. And this is where I appreciate the fact that as a human being, we all have skills and we all have knowledge, or depending on your school system, depending on what your fancy was or your likes was, you knowledged yourself in a different area that I've knowledged myself in. It's just like trade skills or anything else in life. You got certain people that know a lot about this area but don't know nothing about that area, and other people know really a lot about the area you know nothing about, but they don't know nothing about the area you know something about. And this is why it's so crucial for people to be able to get along and work together, because we all possess different skills in life that we can contribute working together to the betterment of mankind. Okay? Well, one of my pet peeves has been division, the biggest tool out there, along with the biggest divide. Okay? And to stop the corruption and to get people back up and think about how they do unto one. To do unto one as you want done unto yourself, you know. And to get people to back up and really pay attention to their own behaviors to try to improve our world. Because we're in the shape we're in because we've allowed ourselves to get there, because we've put ourselves there through our own ignorance, through our own actions and our own behaviors. Okay, and what we allow other people to do onto us. So when we speak out about the powers to be, the elite, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, pick up whatever name you want, people at the top, okay? And all the corruption and all the false flags and all the this and all the that, you know. But there's something I've said. I came up with this idea myself, not even knowing. Of course, I should have figured this already, that somebody else had already come up with the idea long before me, because I have been alive the years I've been here on Earth. But this is an idea I came up with myself, with no help from a video, with no help from social media, with no help from nobody. Okay? It's just an idea I come up with myself, fighting against division to stop the corruption. And lo and behold, if this idea hadn't already been thought of by somebody else, this person right here, Adam Smith, okay? I like the guy. I really do. In reading about this guy, I agree with a lot of what he says. As is somebody else that done a video here in the big debate, Jerry. Okay, yeah, I'll call this the big debate, okay? Okay, he done a video on this too. And he mentions this guy's name, but see, I do my homework, and there's things I didn't know, like I didn't know this guy's name, didn't know he existed. And I read up on him, and I was going through this, and I was reading this, and I liked a lot of what I saw and what I read. So I spent, I don't know, probably about 4 hours, a little more, reading on this and reading on other things and looking into this and looking into that. And, you know, and I think this is a well worth debate, because the fact is this. I just want to see the corruption go away, and I want to see people treating each other on an equal basis. And I don't want to see people walking over the top of somebody else for their own selfish gain. I don't want to see somebody else stepping on somebody else for their own gain. Period. End of story. Okay? I don't want to see men treating women like dirt, and I don't want to see women treating men like dirt. And I want accountability straight across the board, which we don't have. Okay? We don't have. We have way too much division. Way too much of this control freakish nature that people want to have to control somebody else, to feel powerful, to be on top. It's just like with the elite or the rich people or the upper class in society. You notice their kids are little rich snobs who think they're above everybody else when they're not, based on a man-made thing to begin with. Because all of this is man-created. We created it. Man created it. That's right. So, but I agree with this person. So, like Jerry, I stand with this guy. After reading on him and seeing the stuff that this guy was into and what he was doing, he was basically a teacher. He was an educator, a teacher. And seeing the stuff that he was doing in his own beliefs, okay, and the book that he wrote, I haven't read the book like Jerry, but I read through this whole thing this morning. Okay, I was up early. And I read through this whole thing. That time got ahead of me here. Okay, but just the same, I was reading through this and I like this guy. So I'll stand with Jerry here on this one too. I agree with him. Okay. And then a name I never heard of before right here. Okay. And so I had to go read near upon this as well. I'm going to show you something though here. Let's see. Jewish community. What did you see? And what do you see here? It's one and the same, right? Okay. Because see, the idea I came up with, I want people to be equal. This is where the debate comes in. Okay. Because I want equal, and I didn't realize that somebody else had already wanted equal, and there had already been communities that tried this. Now, of course, this wouldn't be my idea of equal. This was somebody else's idea of equal, and made everything look the same, which is sick, which is dumb. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, this is completely dumb. Okay, you could have had equal, and you could have built homes for people on an equal basis with size price range that meant everybody else's. And there could have been different designs in that same price range for people that didn't like this design or that design, but you didn't see that happen here, did you? You saw one hive mind thinking that you see what they've done. Okay, this, I guess to me this would be more like living in a military camp. That's right, in barracks on a military camp. Okay, when I see this, okay? So this is, to me, I don't agree with this at all. Okay, what they've done here for the homes, when these people were being equal to build this, I don't agree with this at all. This is complete hogwash. Okay, and I'll jump forward to the next picture that was showing. Okay, now this right here, a new order wants everyone to be equal. Get to work, ladies. I call this a tug on your emotion strings. That's what that is. This is tugging on your emotions to get somebody to side with you. This is manipulation. That's what this picture's about. It's to tug on your heartstrings. It's to show women doing hard physical labor. And to say that the New World Order wants everybody to be equal. I disagree with that totally. If they really wanted everybody to be equal, they wouldn't have spent years creating the biggest divide ever created between men and women. They wouldn't have divided everybody up the way they've divided everybody. Division is in every aspect of life. It's been deliberately done, divide and conquer. That is what the New World Order, that's what these criminals want. Okay? So why are you going to manipulate and put a picture up and right above it, the New World Order wants everybody to be equal? When that's the opposite, the very opposite of what they want. Okay? And then you're going to use a picture of women pushing cars full of gravel, full of rock, heavy, hard labor to tug on people's emotions. Okay? This is manipulation right here. And I don't agree with this because that's exactly what this is. And it actually, the statement within itself is completely insane because they didn't spend years creating the division they've created for divide and conquer to say we want everybody equal. No, not at all, okay? So then we'll move onward. And then we have this, which is more hogwash, okay? One more time, we're tugging on your heartstrings, and we're putting manipulation up here, and we're not being honest, okay? Oh, and because everyone's equal, it's not your child anymore. It's everybody's child. Complete hogwash. Not true at all. Nobody ever said equal means everybody wears the same shirt. Everybody wears the same color. Everybody's kid belongs to everybody. Nobody ever said that. Even with all the looking and reading I've already done, not once is this ever mentioned. Not once did anybody ever even think this way with being equal. Nobody ever thought this way. And if somebody did, they would have been the one that was a psychopath. They would have been the one that was nuts. Completely crazy. Because this is a completely nuts statement to make. Okay? Over somebody wanting things to be equal. So, obviously, when my idea about being equal was to combat the division, to help stop the corruption amongst people, and to stop the mentality, I'm better than you, I'm above you, over a man-made thing. Because it doesn't matter. It really does not matter whether it's socialism, communism, fascism, republic, it doesn't matter. Democracy. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Because it's all man-made names for society with different rules and regulations and beliefs that people apply to that man-made creation. That's all it is. And people ruling over the top of other people. That's all it is. And because that's all it is, and we have complete corruption, we have people stepping on each other, walking on each other, killing each other for resources, for more and more. More for me, more for me. We're all about me. We don't care about anybody else but our own selfish self. And my fight's always been the division and the attitude of people and how they're treating one another. Okay? And looking around me and seeing all the corruption that comes from power and greed. Seeing how this power and greed becomes the virus that attacks the human brain. Okay? Ego. People allowing their ego to overinflate and blow up and go where it should never go. Okay? And treat each other the exact way they would never want to be treated themselves. This is where I come from. And nobody wants to take the responsibility. I mean, none of you want to take the responsibility on an individual basis. None of you do. Doesn't matter what gender you are. You don't want to take the responsibility to back up and think about how you treat somebody else. Because to back up and think about how you treat somebody else or what you do unto somebody else and to recognize right from wrong. I've been saying this over and over for years and none of you want to take that responsibility. Okay? So, but this community did exist. Okay? And we'll go on here because I got some things I want to show you, okay? Now, Being equal means we're all going to dress black, we're all going to dress blue, we're all going to act the same. No, because throughout society, throughout it, that was the same, that we would all act the same, which is complete hogwash, okay? I'll tell you what, right now in today's society, for the years I've been on Earth, I have witnessed and seen myself on more than one occasion, on many different occasions, pockets of people who run in their cliques because these people all agree upon most of the stuff and think the same in a lot of ways, and so they hang together. And over here is another group of people that hang together because they think and blah blah the same ways, and they don't agree with that group over here. And this group don't agree with that group over here. That's gone on my whole life all over the place. So when you want to say being equal means everybody's going to make everybody going to think the same, then explain why you have pockets all over the place already thinking the same right now. Okay, I mean, it's insanity, okay? It really is, it's insanity. To me, it's more like looking for cop-outs, a way to go around what you don't like. Okay, and I'm not going to say any more than that. Okay, because that statement's not directed at one person. It's directed at this type of thinking is all. Okay? Does being equal mean that everyone must be the same? Okay? Equality or equality means that everybody experiences the same standards of living, whether those standards are expectational or unsatisfactory, good or bad. Being equal does not mean that everyone would, catch this, being equal does not mean that everyone would not be the same. Because you can never completely conceal or remove what makes individuals different. That's correct, individuality. And right there it says it's straight and simple, and this is the truth right here. You will never, ever, ever do away with individuality. So to say that because we're equal means everybody's going to want a better blue, everybody's going to want this, everybody's going to want that, that means your baby belongs to everybody, their baby belongs to you. That's insanity. That's going overboard. That's manipulation. That's twisting and manipulating. Showing the women pushing these heavy rocks in these cars. That was a tug on the heartstrings, the emotional strings. To convince. To manipulate. Okay, that's what that was. Deceit. Deceiving people is really what that is. Okay, because the truth is right here in your face. You will not do away with individuality through people being equal. That's insanity. There's no way you could ever do that. No. There's no way you could. Because individuality says, I like this, this, this. I don't like that, that, that. And Jerry likes this, this, this. Don't like that, that, that. Rhonda likes this, this, this. Becky likes this, this, this. And on and on and on it goes. And Cal likes this, 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 and don't like that, that, that. And Tom likes this, 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 and don't like that, that, that. And Sue likes this, 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 and don't like that, that, that. And because we're on an equal basis means that all changes? No, it doesn't. Oh, well, eventually we'll start thinking the same. No, we won't. That's not how that works. Because you have pockets in society that's been here since I've been born of people who think this way that hang together and people who think that way that hang together, and they will fight till they kill each other because they will never agree. It has nothing to do with being equal at all. See, my idea of being equal is merely only to defeat the corruption, to stop other people from rising above other people. That's all that was about. And why do I want to stop other people from rising above other people? Because power and greed absolutely corrupts. That's why. You all know power and greed absolutely corrupt. So there's just, that's the reason I said what I said. That's the reason I do what I do. But let me show you something here. A communist, because, I've been told I'm being communist. I'm a communist because I believe that people should be the same. So let's look over this in a minute, okay? In communism, is everyone paid the same? Okay? Because I brought up more than one time throughout the years, I brought up if I had control over the monetary system, I would make sure everybody had the same pay, but it'd be a really good pay. Really good. So that they could live good. I would want everybody to be able to live good and be able to get their needs when they needed them. To not be messed over if their car broke down. If they had to replace it suddenly, they could do it. That was my idea, okay? If I had control. But of course I don't, right? So it goes nowhere because of course I don't, right? But if I had, right? And that regardless of what the job was, you would all. And then you got people that just skew things and throw things out of means and says, well, the teacher contributes more to society because they're teaching, and the firefighter puts their life on the line, saves people's buildings. Well, let me tell you something. The teacher, yes, I agree, but let me tell you something about the firefighter. That's completely lame. That's a job nobody would want to do because blah, blah, blah. I'll guarantee if your neighborhood was on fire, if there was a forest fire, and we were all on an equal basis, and you're thinking that these people ain't going to have an incentive to be a firefighter because it's dangerous, I'll guarantee if your home's on the line and your stuff's on the line, you suddenly will have the incentive to save your stuff. You'll suddenly have the incentive to try to put out that fire before it gets to your house. It's insanity because the incentive will be there. Okay, it's not about controlling other people. It's about stopping the corruption. That's all it's ever been about to me, is stopping the corruption, okay? So, okay, in a communist society, let me just, emphasize that there has never been a communist society, okay? Let me emphasize that there has never been a communist society. No one is really paid anything, or rather, no one is paid in money. A communist society, okay, where you shall always be granted what you need as long as you work for it. If you work well, okay, no slave labor conditions, welcome to America, slave labor, you will go home at the end of the day and be granted food, water, and everything you need. Of course, if for some reason you need to be paid with money, they'll give you money. Yet it won't really be worth anything. Well, money ain't really worth anything right now. It's all man-made. It's all created. It ain't worth nothing. You know what's worth something? I want to see you survive without food and water. That's your real money. For a couple of years ago, I was on a holiday to Cuba, and the thing I noticed there was that everyone had been paid exactly the same. It is usually these people refer to, now Cuba isn't a communist country, nor a socialist country. Cuba, North Korea, China, the Soviet, and similar countries are not socialist or communist. They are more of a weird, awkward combination of fascism and a rougher and darker parts of socialism. Okay? Now I wanted to read that part to you, and then I want to jump over here to this, okay? I lived in a place where everyone worked but no one was paid for their work. All the essentials of life were free: housing, healthcare, education, food, travel, even daily newspapers, televisions, radios, even a kettle for making tea. For the things that were not free, there were individual budgets specifically for things like holidays and clothing. Where I lived, people worked in all types of jobs, in industries, agriculture, and services, but it didn't matter what you did. No one had more than anyone else. Okay, when luxuries and different kinds become available, such as newer housing, a larger refrigerator, okay, color television, were okay, excited according to were allocated according to system. We all agreed was just usually based on seniority. The unpleasant but consensual jobs were shared as well, as on weekends everybody had to be ready but once a month to do something different. Just keeping place running, for example, every fourth Saturday I milked cows through my day job and worked as a computer programmer. So he was a computer programmer who milked cows every fourth Saturday. Cows didn't weekends, okay? And I needed to milk every day. I raised for our children together from birth in children, okay, in children's houses and spent their days there and their nights too. Come home to visit my parents from 1600 to 2020 every day. Most parents, that time was devoted to their kids, and everyone left work in time to get their children home and minimize those few hours together. Okay? Then we'll go on here. We ate together in a common dining room and food like everyone else, provided without money. Everyone took their need. Okay, we had to share laundry to do our clothes. We washed, mended without change every day of the week. I never forgot the conversation I had with a man who was at the time elected head of the factory. When I asked him about being a manager, he corrected me and said he was just a coordinator and we don't believe in managers. His office was the one of the only places in the factory that had air conditioning. So on a hot summer days, he'd leave his door open so that everyone could see he wasn't using it. It was not a perfect society. Over the years, many of its values eroded and were eventually lost. But equality was at its core. And the only equality because there are societies in which those certain degree of, but there are not places you'd ever want to live. Another key value with founding okay, get my glasses to focus, my eyes to focus, the unbearable was democracy, okay? We voted on everything. We rotated managers, okay? So they went into a democracy and we done away with that because it eroded in time. Okay, that's really what he's telling you. And he'll go down here, and as I go down here further, you're going to see exactly what Jerry was talking about. Let me get to it. Bing, bing, bing. I know it's here because I read this whole thing already. And there it is right here. Much of this is gone. As an art documentary, Values of the unright of the kibitz. Where did you hear that? Jerry was telling you about this yesterday. Right here. Here it is. See, even that happened here. So, but my idea was never this stuff to begin with. I didn't go look online to find this stuff. My idea didn't come from nobody. I mean, absolutely nobody. My idea came from me, from fighting the corruption and the division as a form of knocking out the power play, the power trip, the virus that attacked the human brain, power and greed. What's led to our corruption to begin with? What's leading to stealing resources and killing people? What's keeping men and women fighting one another? What's keeping the races from standing together? How come we notice each other's skin color, our hair, or their religion, or their belief, and we attack each other? This is where that came from. It was from nobody else, okay? Examples of communism, because it's been thrown in my face, oh, this is communism, And it has nothing to do with communism. It's about fighting. This is why I would say this is the great debate. Because you have to find a way of becoming responsible for your own actions, what you do unto somebody else. You have to recognize right from wrong. And you have to find a way of stopping other people from walking all over the top of you. And you have to start standing up for yourselves. And nobody should be above nobody else. Nobody's a god on this earth. I don't care who you are. You're not better than somebody else. Because you know more in this area, that makes me smarter than him. But he knows more in this area that you don't know, so that means he's smarter than you now. Do you see the insanity in that? So you're going to bicker back and forth. I'm smarter than you because I know this. And that person says, well, but I know this and you don't know that, so I'm smarter than you. Well, you're both just stupid. That's what you are. You're both just stupid. Because reality says you have your skills that you're good at. You have your things that you're not good at. This person over here has their skills that they're good at. And on and on and on. And what you're not good at, somebody else is good at. So, it's insanity to think that you're above somebody else because you're not. Nobody is. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your position in life is. I don't care where you're from. Okay? Communist is a system of government where all the property and public and the government owns and controls the manufacturing, transportation, industries. People share equality from the benefits of labor. Welcome to America. They receive the things they need from the government. Okay? And so much of this that I just read already spells out welcome to America. Communism is a system of government where all the property is public. What do we have? We have public parks, public this, public that, public that. That's right. And the government owns and controls the manufacturing. Corporations and governments work together, and who owns all this? There you are, same people, right? Transportation hasn't already been proven that's controlled by who? There you go. And the industries, okay? People share equality from benefits of labor that they receive the things they need from their government. You're receiving the tool from your labor that you're buying the things you need. What part of that do you not understand? You're receiving the tool from your labor to buy the things you need. So, in return for your labor, you get the things you need. Whether if I gave it to you or whether I give you this phony money this man created, one and the same damn thing. Welcome to America. But you're going to sit there and tell me, oh, equality is communism, and we can't have communism when you already have communism. When you've been living in a communist, this is nuts. What did I tell you? I don't care if it's communism, socialism. I don't care. If it's fascism, I don't care. A democracy, I don't care. It's all man created. It's man created names with roles put under it that you choose to live by. And until we grow up and we make our own choices and we stand together and we agree upon, this is why we call this the Great Debate. But I wanted to get to this part here because I wanted you to understand when you're whining and crying or you're saying, but this is communism, that's evil, you really need to pay attention right here. Because literally, your government already and your corporations are working together and they literally, private property, okay, public property. Have you ever walked into any national forest or any national this or went anywhere that's a park that's not public? Come on. Do you own a park? No, you don't. Okay? Your transportation system's been controlled by the government and corporations as long as I've been alive. Everything here, when you read this and really think about it, it screams it in your face, welcome to America. But yet there you are. Oh, but equality, being equal is communism. Well, you're already living it. It's insanity. But I had to say that and throw that out there because it's right here in your face. It surely is. Communism in the current times. Okay? All of it's right here for you to find. All you got to do is go look. All you got to do is apply some common sense to this and really look at it hard, and you'll understand. But understand this, when you want to say being equal means I'm promoting communism, you obviously don't understand what communism is. A man-made thing. You obviously don't understand how they pulled the blanket over your face. Because it's a system of government where all the property is public. And the government owns and controls the manufacturing, the transportation industries. People share equality from the benefits of labor. Okay. You share equality through the benefits of labor. I'll say it again. You went to work, you labored, they gave you money to buy your needs. So whether they took the monetary system completely away and gave you your needs, or they give you some money to buy your needs, it's one and the same. It's all a man-made construct, people. You're fighting over man-made names and governments. If I had my way, I'd abolish governments. I really would. But I'm just saying, okay? Not mad at nobody here, just saying. But I wanted to throw that out there and put this in your face. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. You have a good one.